These people are just idiots. I really, I'm at the point where it's become really hard to have an intellectual debate with any of these people because the level of stupidity that they are displaying every single day.
It's about Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar, apparently, that's not her real name. Her real name, apparently, Omar, was taken when she left, where was it, Somalia? She was I think she was in a camp, a refugee camp with her family. This is very, very common in these refugee camps where somebody comes in, they've got a pass. It's the reunite the family kind of thing, and so they'll either pay in some cases, or they're friends, and I think in this case they were friends, and the Omar family said, we can take 3 of you, we'll take the sister, the brother, and Ilhan, and they'll become our family. We don't want to go into that because, if you're in a refugee camp, I'm not going to say I'm not doing that with my family. Let's not discuss that. What's important is, why did she marry her brother? I have been in touch with David Steinberg, and the more I talk to him, the more, he's been the guy who said to me in the past, privately, Glenn, I'm not even going to tell you about this because I don't have the certificate yet. It's going to be coming from Great Britain. And I said, what certificate? Trying to get it out of him. He said, just never mind. Until I have it, I don't even want to talk about it. And one of them is a marriage certificate. I have some of them here. One of them is a marriage certificate here. There's this certificate that actually is for her sister.
Okay.
And it claims that her sister's dad is Nur Saeed. Okay. He's also now a Omar. The Omars are not the parents. He is the parent. We don't know where the mother is, but he is the father. So why did she, when she came over in 2009, she was here and she was going to go to college. And in 2009, she's already married, has 2 children with another husband. She doesn't get a divorce because they were only married through religious ceremony. But then she decides to not marry religiously, just marry for the law in 2009, a guy who appears to be her brother. Why? They both, after they're married, they both go to the University of...
It's North Dakota State.
North Dakota State. So they both go to college. One possible reason is because they get a tremendous break as a married couple going to college together. Also, one could help the other one get in. But during the college years, they're married, but they're still living with the spiritual husband and the children. Ex and her new husband are living in the same house while the husband and wife are going to college. Then he mysteriously leaves. As soon as college is over, he's gone. And while she goes over, and again, we have things from the internet that you can't independently verify because, it's the internet, but it's
social media posts by these people.
Yeah, pretty solid that these are pictures of her with her brother, with her sister, saying, this is my sister, this is my dad, this is my brother, on all of their social media pages. The problem with this is she testifies later that she needs a divorce from this guy, her brother. She needs a divorce, and she just said, I haven't seen him in years. I don't know where he went, so I just need the divorce papers filed. So they give her the divorce. Here's the problem. That required her to swear an oath that she didn't know who he was or where he was. These pictures now show she knows exactly where he is, and she knew at the time of swearing in, for this divorce. It also has her perpetrating a fraud on the state by marrying possibly her brother. If it's not her brother, it's still somebody that she's very close to, and perpetrating the fraud on the university if that's what they were doing to get lower costs. So perpetrating that fraud. Also, she filed income tax with her spiritually married husband at the time she was married legally to another husband, while they were all living in that same house. So there's income tax fraud, there's possible fraud on acceptance into the country, and there is also possible fraud with the marriage. This is, I believe, that I don't know if a journalist can take this further than this. I think now you need a grand jury. But I do believe there's enough information here to at least bring to a grand jury and say, you have possibly the biggest fraud case in the American Congress ever.
Yeah.
And it should be investigated. And she should want it to be cleared up. So, I mean, it's pretty solid. Now, the question is, will anyone in law enforcement have the balls to look this up? Does the IRS, think of this, this isn't a political case, this is actual violation. Look how Obama used the IRS to go after Tea Party members. Does anybody in the IRS actually want to or have the balls to look into a sitting congressman? I mean, you'll pay a heavy, heavy price going against her, a heavy price. And the Minneapolis Star-Tribune actually said that they didn't give him, he's a real reporter that's done real reporting on this, and said PJ Media is a far right-wing website. So when they said we can't independently verify, and these charges also came from a far right-wing website, they just dismissed them, get discredited, which is really unfortunate. Let's just dismiss this. Let's look at this seriously. I remember arguing with you saying, why can't we even look into it? It's so easy to, and we just, you just didn't want to get involved in it because you had a feeling that it wasn't true, a really strong feeling wasn't true, but if you tried to prove that it wasn't true, you would be called
You'd look like
a birther.
Right.
Okay?
Like anyone who tries to disprove the conspiracy theory is accused of being guilty of believing the conspiracy
Right. So
theory.
it was just poison to even mention it. That will work to her favor in this, too.
She's using it. That's what she's doing.
Yeah. It's very easy. All Barack Obama had to do was just produce it. Well, okay, so he did. Now, it's crazy because anybody who says, oh, look, they did that, that's just, okay, crazy town. She should just easily dismiss this. Tell me now what you have found and the facts that line everything up.
Well, there's so much here I'd love to go over with you, so much evidence I've published. Here's the basics for your audience. Back in 2003, this man named Ahmed N. Elmi graduated from Arlington Senior High School in St. Paul, Minnesota. While he was attending that school, he was living with a man named Nur Saeed Mohammed. Nur Saeed Mohammed is Ilhan Omar's father. So for the 1 year he was attending this school in Minnesota, his legal guardian was Ilhan Omar's father. Now, I don't have the school records yet. I can't acquire those without a warrant. But I do have several witness statements placing him in that address, saying that was his father. And I do have address records putting both of them in that address. Now, certainly that would be something that you would think a reporter would ask her about over this time. Mm-hmm. No one's asked her about it. Most of what I've published has been ignored. In the one or two times that she has been confronted by the media, a New York Times reporter asked her a couple of questions, an AP reporter asked her a couple of questions. Nobody's brought up that. The second bit of information I have showing that this marriage was fraudulent is that from 2009 to 2011, which is the extent of her marriage to Ahmed Elmi, Ilhan Omar was attending college at North Dakota State University. Also enrolled was Ahmed Elmi. Now, shortly after she married this man who appears to be her brother, they both enroll in the same college. I checked address records. Ilhan's first husband, who she has 2 kids with, also lived in the same address with Ilhan Omar and her brother/husband during those 2 years. She was attending North Dakota State University. She was living with 2 husbands at the same time and her 2 children.
In the same house?
In the same house 1 year, and then in the same house the next year. They were all in the same 2 addresses. Actually, her first husband, whom she has the 2 kids with, the records actually show she spent more time living with him during her marriage to the second husband than she spent living with the second husband. And then, as soon as she gets her degree in 2011, she heads back to Minnesota, and according to her, her second marriage fell apart and she never spoke to him again. That's it. The extent of her marriage took place while they were both attending college.
Okay, now, which is weird because her kids and her husband are living in the same house. All right, so she claims that she never spoke to him again, and she claimed that in court for the divorce, correct?
She did not divorce Ahmed Elmi, her brother, until 2017, when this became a liability for running for a federal office. So that occurred early in 2017. She filled out a form saying she had not spoken to him since 2011. She had no idea of where to find him. She had no contact with him, with any relatives. She said she had tried to search for him online with social media. Every single question she answered on that form is a provable lie, a provable instance of perjury. There's nine instances of perjury just on this one form she signed for the divorce. Because all over her social media, she is having contact with Ahmed Elmi from 2011 to 2015. Not only is she having contact with him, she literally was posting pictures of her having physical contact with them. They're hugging, taking photos of each other in London in 2015. And Ahmed Elmi, we got in touch with him back in 2016. He admits being the person in the photo, but says he was just at some event. He doesn't know who the woman standing next to him is. He admits that he had a wild night in London with this woman who he can't identify, but happened to marry a man with his exact same first name and 2 middle names and last name. Now, I did actually bother to do the homework to rule out if there was anybody else named Ahmed Nur Saeed Elmi. There is not. There was nobody else alive around his age with that name in either England or the United States. So for what he said to be true, that he did not know her, there has to be a second person, but there simply is no records of one.
Now, when you say it's her brother, are you saying because you can't get the birth certificates because she said that her birth certificates were lost in the civil war in Somalia, which is reasonable to believe? Are you saying that this is a brother, or like I have a guy I refer to as my brother? We've known each other since we were kids. He lived with us. He was practically raised by my parents, but he's not my brother. But I consider him my brother. Is that the kind of brother you think this is, or is this an actual blood brother?
I am unable to determine if this is a blood brother. No one's going to be able to determine that without a test. However, it is clear to me from what I've published and from information I have not published yet. I did share some of that with you, Glenn, earlier. Mm-hmm. I'm getting that confirmed by our attorneys over here, and I'll publish it as soon as I can. But the government of London and the government of the United States certainly was told that this person was her brother on several occasions.
That's all for today. Thank you. If you want global news to keep you up to date on any new developments, Please subscribe our channel and forward our content with your friends on social media and email. Thank you very much for keep supporting me. Stay safe, be blessed. Namaste.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.